Okay, I can start.
Let me start first.
Let me know when I can start speaking.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on your time zone. Great to have you in our YouTube stream today. This is our first YouTube stream on Cloud Lifecycle Management topic this year. And as we are still in January, I wish you great and prosperous year 2023. Today, with the session today, we continue our Cloud Lifecycle Management webcasts, and we will talk about SAP Landscape Management Cloud. It is a new software as a service solution to simplify the management of SAP systems running on hyperscaler. It helps you analyze and optimize the infrastructure usage for your SAP systems. Our expert speaker for today is Adarsh Kapoor, who is Senior Product Manager at Cloud and Lifecycle Management at SAP. My name is Larissa Brinkman from the SAP Global User Groups organization, and I'm your host for today. We kindly ask you to place your questions via live chat, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. Adarsh will also show a demo during this session, and we would also ask to place your questions in the chat also related to the demo. With this, I wish you great interaction, and I kindly ask Adarsh to take over.
Thanks, Larissa. So Larissa already gave a very good introduction. I'll skip that part then. I just welcome all of you. Thanks for being here today. And as Larissa already mentioned, what I'm going to do today is I'll give you a quick introduction on one of our new software as a service solutions called SAP Landscape Management Cloud. And I'm going to be spending most of the time today on showing you live demos, as the title of the session clearly states, live in action. So my idea was to show you the real stuff, how it looks like, how it works, and what are some of the key capabilities that it has to offer, rather than spending too much of time on the slides. So let's have a look at the agenda. I'll give a quick introduction to set the context, just few slides, just to point some of the key challenges we are trying to address with this solution and what are some of the key use cases. And then I'll share with you the top three new features that we delivered recently. And after that, I'll jump right away into the live demos. And in the end, we will also leave enough time for live question and answers. So that will be your opportunity to ask your questions. Okay, so let's get started. So especially if you're new to the solution, the first thing that comes to your mind is what is SAP Landscape Management Cloud? What is this solution all about? And what was, let's say, the need of coming up with a new SaaS solution? And to explain that, let me start with some of the key challenges that we are trying to address, or our customers, for example, what they were asking us. And what you see on this slide is a list of top 4 or 5 questions that our customers were asking us again and again with respect to managing their SAP environments running on public cloud infrastructures. Now, just to point out, we already have a product called Landscape Management Enterprise Edition. In short, we call it LLAMA Enterprise, which is our flagship product for managing your, for simplifying the management of your SAP landscapes. And that's already quite a mature product, but that's primarily focused on managing your on-prem environments or private cloud environments. And it also offers you some cloud connectors to manage your hybrid landscapes. But then as more and more customers are migrating to the cloud, moving a part of their SAP estate or complete SAP estate to public cloud infrastructures, they started asking us questions about a native cloud support for managing their SAP environments running on infrastructure as a service for hyperscalers. And that's where these kind of questions that you see here on the slide started coming up, that how do I get a SAP centric view on my systems running on public cloud infrastructures? How do I analyze and optimize my infrastructure consumption? So although hyperscalers already provide tools for in-depth analysis of cost and infrastructure consumption, but what they miss is the SAP centric view. And of course, then the moment you are running your SAP environment on a hyperscaler, you also think about how do I manage and operate? How do I simplify my operations? How do I optimize my cost, analyze cost, and how do I streamline some of my operations and simplify basically the running of those landscapes? And also things like how do I get notified about some important alerts within the landscape, those kind of things. So that is what led to the birth, so to speak, of SAP Landscape Management Cloud. And what we said, instead of having one solution and forcing one solution on the customer for everything, let's give them more options and flexibility so that they can choose, depending on their operational needs, what would be the right solution for them. For example, if you're running fully in the cloud, you can go with Landscape Management Cloud. If you're running fully on-prem or private cloud, you can go with Nama Enterprise. If you have a hybrid landscape, you can use both the solutions in combination. We already have the basic integration between these two solutions, and we are evaluating even more scenarios how to extend that integration between two solutions. So that was a quick background. As I said, the challenges we are trying to address is primarily focused around uh, making it easier for customers to manage their environments on hyperscalers and giving them a cloud native solution to manage the systems running on the cloud. So that clearly, the next slide, this in one line, it kind of explains the value proposition. It's all about simplifying the management of your SAP systems running on public cloud infrastructures like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. That's what the solution is about. And it's fairly new so far. I will share some of the key use cases that we have. And then later you will also see some of the key capabilities. But keep in mind that this is a fairly new solution, and now we already evaluating a lot of things. And this is where we're also reaching out. We are discussing it closely with our customers and our ecosystem on what could be the capabilities they would like to see in this solution. This is really evolving. And this is also, as I said, a good point in time to also connect and discuss and have let's say, constructive discussion on what would be some of the things you would like to see or other pain points you would like to be addressed by this solution. So coming to the key use cases, as I said, one of the use cases which customers were stressing upon was how do I get a SAP-centric view on my infrastructure consumption, on my cost and energy consumption of running my SAP landscape on public cloud infrastructures. So we have advanced analytic capability in the product, in the solution, which helps you do a detailed analysis of all your cost and energy consumption of running your SAP environment or landscape on any hyperscaler. And this gives you the insights that you would need to kind of do a good analysis. And from that, that analysis would help you think about how you could optimize some of your costs. And that's the next step that the customers want to do, that after they have done an analysis of cost and energy consumption of their SAP landscape, the next thing they want to do is optimize. And for that, we give inbuilt availability patterns. There is possibility to use out-of-the-box standard availability patterns that you can apply on your landscape, on your system groups to optimize your cost. And you can also create your own availability patterns. Once you have some insights from the analysis, then you can think about how can you best optimize the running costs of your landscapes. So, having covered the analysis and optimization part of running your SAP systems, the next important aspect that comes is simplifying the operations, simplifying and standardizing your operations, and having the basic management capabilities to manage this whole environment. And that goes into the direction of standardizing and automating some of your basic and advanced SAP operations. Like, even for example, if you want to perform start and stop operation on your systems, you want to do basic monitoring, you want to get some basic dashboards and pods that gives you a high level view on the current state of your landscape, some visualization capabilities, and even advanced operations like performing a system refresh, where you want to refresh your one of your quality development system from the latest production data. So all these kind of different kind of operational needs that you would have, that is what the third use case here covers. And as I said, this is just the beginning. These are the some of the key use cases currently that we have, and some of the key capabilities we have. But this whole thing is evolving. We are adding more capabilities and more functionality to the product, and addressing even more and more needs that you may have around the whole topic of managing your systems on hyperscalers. Now, the next slide just provides some of the key features, capabilities under each of those use cases. We don't have to go talk about that in detail on this slide, since you will see most of this during the live demos. Before I jump into the live demo, let me quickly share some of the top three, rather, some of the key features that we recently delivered. Of course, this is not the complete list. We shipped a lot more features and enhancements. And for that, if you're interested to have a complete overview on all the new features, capabilities, and enhancements that we've delivered in the last few months, you could refer to this link that I've provided in the slide deck. That takes you to the detailed release notes, where you'll see a complete overview. But just to share the top three features that we recently delivered based on customer feedback, is one is that we added the capability of refreshing an SAP system running on a hyperscaler with the latest production data. Right now, in the first version, what we offer is a possibility to refresh the system using SAP HANA file-based backup. This is just one of the flavors, let's say, or the first flavor we have. Obviously, in future, we're already evaluating giving you other possibilities and other options to refresh the system, for example, using the backend interface, or sorry, or even integration with the cloud native backup services. Excuse me for that. Cloud native backup services that are offered by the hyperscalers. Then the other, let's say, highly demanded feature that we wanted to make it available was support for non-SAP databases. Obviously, with this, we take the cloud first and SAP first approach, excuse me, which is understandable. But then in reality, customers run some of their SAP systems on hyperscalers, even which are based on non-SAP databases like Oracle and MS SQL. So this was a highly requested feature that we now added. It is possible now to manage systems even running on MS SQL and Oracle DB. And the third is that we extended the support for the cloud providers. Until a few months ago, we supported only Azure and AWS. But now, as of today, we also support GCP. So with that, we cover all the three major enterprise cloud providers, AWS, Azure, and GCP. And that is also good news for our customers who are running their environments on GCP. So with that, I would like to move on to the live demo part. And I hope you find that much more interesting. So let me switch to my system. Just a sec. Yeah. So that's the opening screen of SAP Landscape Management Cloud. That's what you see. The moment you log in, you see these colorful pods, and you see the dashboard. And dashboard, as you can imagine, provides high level, a general high level view on your landscape, and using various tiles. And what you see right at the center is the tile cost, estimated monthly cost, which gives you an overview of your estimated monthly cost for running your landscape, running your cloud landscape. And you see how the cost is, the monthly cost is broken down into different system groups you have here. In this case, you see that 55% of the cost comes from the production system group, and the remaining 45 from the other groups like sandbox, quality, and development. And system groups is nothing but just a way to logically group your systems that fit together. As the name implies, all you would typically group all your production system in the production group. So you can create any kind of group, any number of groups that you want. It's just a way for you to organize the system according to the type of system and how they fit together. And other tiles that you see here, for example, is applied patterns. Here you would see any cost or energy optimization pattern that is currently active. In our case, we haven't created or applied any pattern yet. Therefore, this is empty. You see the cloud provider tile, same goes for the energy, estimated monthly and annual energy savings. Since we haven't really applied any optimization pattern, you will see that later in the demo. So these tiles currently are empty. And right at the bottom, you see your system groups. As I already mentioned, this is just a way to organize your systems, and all your system groups you would see at the bottom. So that's the dashboard. As I said, it just provides a general overview on your landscape and through various tiles. And the other interesting view is the system visualization view. So if, for example, I navigate to the operations view and I select one of the systems, I can navigate to the graph tab and get in the full screen mode. And this is where you see a nice graphical overview. Basically, visualization provides a top-down graphical overview on your system, uh, and which helps you understand what are the different instances that belong to this system, what are the dependencies, and which virtual resources are they running on. And it'll also give you a quick status check. For example, you can see here the status is green for all the associated instances and resources, which means that they are running normally without any issues. And this is just a quick, as I said, nice graphical view, high level view on your entire system that helps you understand the dependency and the status of all the instances associated. So we introduced this after the dashboard, and obviously we are already looking at how we could further enhance the visualization view to give you even more in-depth view into your landscape or the system and the infrastructure dependencies. So this is just, let's say, the beginning. And now let's look at, for example, how would you perform basic operations on your system. So to begin with, for example, if you want to perform a start or a stop operation on one of your systems, there is a possibility to do that in three different ways. For example, you can perform a start or stop operation on a specific instance, or you can perform a start stop operation at a system level or instance level, or you could also perform that at the system group level, which means mass operations. So if I just want to stop the HANA tenant database instance, I can select this specific instance, and from operations, I can select stop or graceful stop or start, depending on the current state of the instance. Or I could also choose to select the entire system, which will automatically select all the associated instances. I can stop this entire system, and Llama Cloud, of course, will take care of all the inter-system dependencies and intra-system dependencies to stop the system in the right sequence. And what you could also do is you can filter on the system group level. For example, if I select development system group, which contains all my development systems, and I can also click on the top and select that would select all my systems that belong to the development system group. And this allows me to perform mass operations at the system group level. Obviously, I can also create a group. As I said, it is entirely up to you how you create and organize your system groups. I can also create a group that contains all my systems, so which will also allow me to do a mass start or stop operation on my entire landscape. But in this case, as you can see, we have created 4 different system groups. Now, if I want to do a mass operation at the development system group level, I can quickly select stop from under operations, which will open a new window which shows all the associated instances and its dependencies. To be, I can quickly review this, go to the next step, check all the instance dependencies, and then if everything is fine, I can just perform the operations. As you can see, it already shows the operations is in progress. I can click on the forward arrow that takes me to the general information and activities history. I can see it's ongoing right now. And on the left, I get a quick overview on the progress of the operation. I can even go to the activities history to get a larger view on this and drill down, which will show me even expanded view of each of the instances and each of the systems. What is the current progress of this operation? And what I could also do is if I click on this line, this also shows me another view, which gives me a detailed list of steps, all the steps that will be performed during this operation on each of the systems. So that's also a nice view just for you to know what's really going on and a complete detailed list of uh, operational steps that will be performed during each operation. So with that, let's just wait for this to finish. Now it shows it's successfully completed, shows green. If we go back to operations, let's see how it looks like. It shows that both my development systems are now offline. They've been successfully stopped and the operation was completed. You get a quick overview here in the screen. And now let's look at an advanced operation, for example, like performing a system refresh. So I can deselect this filter. This brings up the list of all the systems in my landscape. And what we could do here is we can try to perform a refresh on one of the quality systems from the latest production data. So let me select the quality system Q00 and try to refresh the system from the latest production data from the system P00. So I can scroll to the right. That's where I find the option to refresh the system. I can select refresh system, which opens a new workflow, a guided workflow that guides me through some of the basic steps where I need to provide some input or parameters before I can trigger this operation. So the first thing, of course, here you have to select is to select the right source system from where you want to refresh. In this case, it's P00. Then we move to the next step where I have to provide information about my data backup, the location of my data backup, and the target system user and the ABAP database schema user credentials. So let me just give, for example, user SAP. That's the location of my data backup. My user would be admin in this case. And I give the password for both the users, the database user as well as the ABAP schema user. Move to the next step, which gives me information about the allowed outgoing connection of the network isolation. So what Llama Cloud does is that it provides network isolation on the target host to avoid any outgoing communication either to the source system or any other related system in the landscape to avoid any issues. And this just gives you information about what are the allowed outgoing connections, default allowed outgoing connections. And if you want to add an exception or open an additional port, you can always click on the add button and open an additional port. So I want to leave it like this. In this case, I don't want to open any additional port. I just want to go with the default outgoing connection that are allowed. Then next step gives me information about post copy automation. Now, post copy automation is provides a list of task list that helps you automate all your pre and post refresh manual tasks. So typically, you have a long list of steps that you have to perform after you have refreshed the system. Even before you have refreshed, you want to export the configuration. Then after you have refreshed, you want to import it back, adjust your users, BDLS optimization, so on and so forth. The long list of all the post refresh processing steps that you have to do are automated by the post copy automation. So in this case, all the information that Llama Cloud needs is the right client. Typically, this is the base client, client 000, and it wants you to provide information about which task list and task list variant you want to use. So the task list is the default task list in this case, which is provided already with PCA. And in case you have adapted your task list or you made some adjustments and you have created your own, let's say, tailored version, and you have a task list variant, you can provide that input here, that which task list variant would you like to use, depending on what parameter values you've defined. So in this case, we just go with the default task list, copy refresh client 000, and then I can quickly review all the inputs that I've provided. If everything is okay, I can just click on perform operation, which will trigger the system refresh operation in this case. So again, you get immediate feedback on the screen. You will see the high level monitoring you can do from this screen. If you want to do a detailed monitoring of what exactly is going on in the operations, you can again navigate to the activities history screen, where you see the list of all the steps that will be performed during this operation here. And you can even click on the refresh, the top level line here. And again, you can see the new screen, which gives you a detailed list of all the steps that will be performed as part of the refresh operation. And you also have a graphical view of steps, by the way. Here, if you're interested, instead of having a table view, you can see a graphical view of the steps. So that was a system refresh. As I said, as of today, it's possible to perform a refresh using SAP HANA file-based backup. And we are also looking at other alternative approaches to give you more options to perform a refresh. As I said, using packet interface. Even we are evaluating other possibilities or other alternatives that you could use in future. Now, having done that, let's have a quick look at the cost and energy optimization. I also mentioned that the management operations is one use case. The other two use cases that we address is analysis, the cost and energy consumption analysis, and also the optimization. So let me quickly show you how you could apply some of the optimization patterns to save cost as well as energy. The moment you navigate to the optimization tab, you see all your system groups. And here you can quickly select on which system group or which specific systems within a system group where you would like to perform any optimization. And typically as we know from the SAP landscape point of view, the non-production systems usually offer a good potential to save money because they don't have to be available all the time. So for example, in this case, if I select my sandbox system group, I have two systems within the sandbox system group. I can select both of them. And this shows, the table shows on the right-hand side, the estimated cost of running each of those systems. Now, if I would like to apply a pattern, we come back to the screen and see how it already shows the reduced cost once we have applied the pattern. So from the operations drop down, I can select apply pattern, which takes me to the apply pattern screen. Now here I have two possibilities. Either I can choose one of the default patterns, which comes as default with Landscape Management Cloud, or you also have a possibility of creating your own customized patterns. And once you've created, you will see it in the drop-down list. So you have both the possibilities to go with the default, one of the default patterns, or to go with one of your custom patterns. In this case, as just for the sake of the demo, I'm showing a default pattern, which is workdays running 16 hours, which means that it will keep the sandbox systems running 16 hours a day during the week and shut them down on the weekends. So I just select this default pattern, and now I have different timelines here. I can do some sort of analysis on how much estimated cost I have, how much I could save. So I can play around with the timelines. Okay, how much of a saving I could achieve with this pattern over 1 week period, over a 1 month period, 3 months, and up to 1 year. And you can see, you immediately see estimated energy savings that you could achieve through this pattern right here in green. And if I go ahead and apply this pattern, you see that now this pattern is active for both the sandbox system groups, workday running 16 hours, and it already shows you the reduce. The earlier cost we saw was around 3,000 euros. Now it already shows you the reduced estimated cost for you that you can achieve by applying this optimization. Similarly, I could do the same for other system groups and other systems. If I select quality system, I don't have to select the whole system group. I could even select one of the systems within the quality system group, and I can go ahead and apply one of the optimization patterns on that. And if I navigate now to the dashboard, I already see the reduced estimated monthly cost. And now you also see that these tiles estimated monthly and annual energy savings also show you some information on what you could achieve, the energy saving that you could achieve through this optimization pattern. You also see under applied patterns, it shows you the currently active cost or optimization pattern, whatever you have applied. All your active patterns will be shown under this tile. So with that, I would say, yeah, we still have some time. So maybe I could show you some more demos on how to even analyze. So this was the optimization part that you could use to create your own patterns, apply optimization patterns for both energy and cost, and quickly get feedback on what could be the estimated savings you could achieve. Now, if you want to do some analysis, we also have the analytics capabilities. Here, as you see, under analytics, you see cost and energy consumption. And here you can do a detailed analysis of the running costs of your systems at the infrastructure level. And you have different types of views. As you can see here, you have the landscape view, region, system view, so on and so forth. And it also gives you these page level filters that you can apply to adjust your view. In this case, in the landscape view, for example, I choose the date as, for example, if I set it to current month, it shows me the cost trend for this month, for the month of January. I also see that here we got two different accounts that we are using, cloud accounts, one for AWS and Azure. The systems are located across two data centers, EU Central, West Europe. You also see the system ID filter, which shows you all the systems. You can even choose a specific system or a list of systems from here, and system groups, so on and so forth. These are just different kind of filters to give you different views. And what you see at the bottom is another view, which shows you, which helps you look at your system or your landscape through different dimensions. So for example, the default dimension here is the region, which shows you, which gives you the regional view on your systems. I could also select the system group, which now shows me the AWS system group and the Azure system group. I can immediately see that the AWS is generating more cost then the Azure System Group. I could then select the dimension system ID. And that immediately tells me that the system AWA that belongs to the AWS system group is generating significantly higher cost as compared to other systems. And even instance type, I can go all the way down until the instance type. So from here, for example, at the first glance, I already could do the analysis that from the two system groups that I have, AWS and Azure, AWS generates more cost. Within that, AWA system is actually generating the most cost. And now I could go to the system view to drill down a little bit more into that. And this immediately again tells me that AWS system is generating significantly higher cost as compared to the rest of the systems. And the other information I notice here immediately is that the compute costs are much higher than the storage costs. So if I now select the date range, let me also again select the current month. If we are just interested in the current month, and I can select the system ID. Let's say if I'm only interested in AWS, since I've already noticed that this is the system that seems to be generating the highest cost. Now it gives me now the system specific view. As I said, it immediately tells me that now I notice again two things immediately. One is that the HANA 10 DB instance is generating most of the cost, and compute cost are again seems to be clearly higher than the storage cost. I could even drill down and narrow it down to the compute just to get a narrowed down view on the compute cost for the AWS system, also this HANA 10 and DB. And if I scroll down, again, I've got these different dimensions that I can apply to slice my data and look at it from different dimensions. What we immediately noticed is that during the month, there were some peaks. And maybe it was because of these peaks that the system was generating a higher compute cost as compared to the other instances or the other systems. So these are some of the things, as I said, you can do. There are lots of filters, lots of other options that you can use depending on your systems and the landscape, how many data centers your systems are distributed across. So as I said, there are page level filters, there are different dimensions that you can use. You can play around with that to do a detailed analysis of your SAP systems to get a good insight into where the costs are going, where the costs are peaking, which systems or data centers or system groups seem to be generating higher cost than the others, and what's really the cause behind that higher cost. As for example, here we saw some peaks in the consumption or the compute. That seems to be the case. Again, we have another view, which is energy consumption. And if we again go to the same system, AWA, seems to be taking a bit of a time to load. Let's see. Let me try that again one more time. Now it seems to be loading. Yeah, so here we've got the energy consumption view, again with all those page level filters there's different dimensions to slice and dice the data as per our requirement. And if I'm only interested, for example, in the AWA, as we saw previously, if I'm just interested in this system and I select the date range again, if I keep it the same, keep it consistent for this month, I want to see the data. So the blue bars show me the estimated consumption without any optimization. This is what will be my consumption if I do not use any optimization whatsoever. And the orange bars show me the reduced energy consumption based on certain optimizations that I could apply or I have applied already in this case. And this will entirely depend on what kind of optimization, both on cost and energy, that you have applied, or different kind of availability patterns that you have applied. And the green line shows the estimated energy savings that I could achieve by through those optimization patterns. So again, here I have different dimensions. I can go to system group, dimension, system ID, and even all the way down to the instance level to get a view on the energy consumption across different instances for this system. So just a quick demo on how you could use the analytics part to analyze, to do a detailed analysis of your costs. And depending on some of the insights you gain from analyzing, you can then go back and create your optimization patterns and apply the patterns to reduce the energy and cost consumption. And of course, also various types of management and operational capabilities you get to simplify the way you operate and manage your systems on public cloud infrastructures. So with that, I would like to conclude my presentation, and this would be a good time then to open it up for questions. So that gives us enough time to take your question either through live chat, or you could also ask a question over the phone line.
Thank you, Adarsh. Thank you for your presentation and for detailed demo. We have several questions in the chat. I will read them up and ask you to answer them as detailed as possible. And participants don't have a chance to speak up as we are on YouTube.
Okay, great.
So the first question,
Yeah.
the first question is, how can we get access of SAP Llama Cloud? And is that Llama license base and any extra cost for customer to buy this product?
Okay, so there are two questions in one question.
Yes.
So
exactly.
the first, as you can see, I'm showing the demo using the trial. So there is a 30-day free trial that you can do. You just have to go to our product page, and there you see the link to the free trial. You can just sign up and do the free trial for 30 days. And you pretty much get, as the previous system, you can see here, Landscape Management Cloud trial. So this is exactly the same trial image I'm using as you would be using if you sign up for the trial. And that's why I did it for a reason, so that you get pretty much the same view when you try to do your free trial. So that's question number one. Question number two is, are there any additional costs? Yes, the Llama Cloud is a licensed product. It's a SaaS offering, subscription based. And again, if you are interested in the pricing details, that's available on the product page. There is a link that takes you to SAP store where you can get the pricing details. And for any additional question on pricing, how it's priced and how the subscription works, you're also most welcome to reach out to me, and I can help you with that.
Okay, so maybe do you have a link to free trial that you can post in the chat, so I can then include it into YouTube chats for the convenience of our listeners? So this would be first part. And the second part, in case some of the listeners would like to reach out to you, I assume that we will make your presentation as PDF available, and you have your contact details included.
Yes, we will do that. And within the presentation, I will also have this further information slide where I'll provide the links to our product page and also the free trial.
Okay, then please put the link for free trial in the chat so I can put it for YouTube listeners. So we continue with Llama Cloud. Does Llama Cloud handle pre-refresh task list, or customer does have to do it manually?
Yeah, so let me repeat that question if I got that correctly. So does Llama Cloud provide a pre-refresh task list? Was that the question?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it does. So when I was showing you PCA, so PCA task list has, the task list includes the pre-refresh task list. What it does is that it first creates an export before it refreshes the system. The PCA task list will create an export, and after the refresh is complete, then it'll import that task list back. So that's included in the PCA, post copy automation.
All right. So now let us. So the answer to this question is that there is an option for predefined list, so customer doesn't have to do it manually, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, very good. The next question is, in your demo, you were referring to costs several times, and the question in the chat is, what type of costs are considered for this assessment?
Yeah, so these are your infrastructure cost, your compute storage cost typically of running your systems on the public cloud infrastructures. So primarily storage and compute.
All right. So let me put the link in the chat. So the next question is, are there any option by Llama to provide standard threshold value for energy consumption for each SAP instance to generate alert?
Not yet, but these would be some of the things that we would be working on going forward. As I said, it's still a fairly new solution. So it's evolving, and we are talking to our customers, ecosystem partners. We're getting constant feedback on how we can enhance even the analytic capabilities. So we would be adding more and more of such capabilities and enhancements going forward. But right now, to answer your question, there is no possibility to create thresholds that you get alerted for the energy consumption.
Okay, thank you for that. We also had a question in the chat that the session like yours is very useful and of a value, especially for those who run SAP landscapes, and especially when you have to run an update. And I've posted a link to the sessions of SAP Cloud Lifecycle Management series that we provided last year. And we will also continue with more session this year. Maybe now is the right moment to advertise the next session of Adarsh colleague. Adarsh, would you like to give a few words so I can place the link in the chat for this session?
Yeah, sure. So you can place the link, and the thing is that I already mentioned that we have another product called Landscape Enterprise, which has been around for quite some time already. It's quite mature. A lot of customers are using it. And my colleague will be delivering another follow-up session on Llama Enterprise in February. So there he will be sharing details about some of the new capabilities that we've also delivered as part of Llama Enterprise. And recently we delivered a new feature pack, which has a lot of new innovations. He will cover that as well. So as I said, we offer now a lot of choice to our customers with these two solutions. Depending on their operational needs, they can choose which one they want to use, or if they want to use both.
All right, very good. I've already posted the link to the session on Llama Enterprise. It will take place on the 8th of February. So if you have a chance, join this session, and especially if you are more in your work, you work more with Enterprise Edition. So this is your chance also to talk to the expert directly.
Yeah.
So let me check again to all our listeners. Please feel free to post your questions in the chat. Otherwise, let me check on the questions that we get from various customer channels. And there is one question: what cloud providers are currently supported by Llama Cloud? Maybe you
So
can
that's
just
easy.
mention them again.
Yeah. So that's easy. We now support all the three leading enterprise cloud providers. We support Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform.
Very good. Then maybe also following on the announcement of the session on Llama Enterprise, is it a prerequisite to have Llama Enterprise in order to use Llama Cloud?
Simple answer is no. You don't need Llama Enterprise to use Llama Cloud. But if you already have Llama Enterprise, then of course it is a possibility for you to use Llama Enterprise as your landscape agent. And there is basic integration already available between Llama Cloud and Llama Enterprise.
All right. Thank you very much. I don't see more questions in the chat. As we already indicated, we will then make the presentation available as a PDF. Shortly after the session, I will add the link to download of the PDF to the description of the video that will be still available on SAP Community YouTube channel for on-demand consumption. And of course, feel free to leverage these assets and also educate yourself and your teams. With this, thank you, Adarsh, very much for your presentation, for the demo, and for answering the questions. And also thank you very much to all the listeners of our session today. We hope you will also join our upcoming sessions. And we are very much glad to have a chance to interact with you and also get your feedback and make our products and services better. With this, thank you very much and bye-bye. And we hopefully see each other in one of our upcoming sessions.
Yeah. So thanks, Risa. Thanks, everybody, for dialing in. And hope to continue the conversation after the session. And any questions, as I said, please feel free to reach out to me. We will be sharing the slide deck later in the PDF format after the session. Thank you very much.